Have you ever had a moment when your curiosity teetered right on the edge of intrusion? That kind of hesitant, slightly guilty peeking that says more about wanting connection than suspicion? Let me tell you a story. A late autumn afternoon, golden sunlight, and a new neighborhood that felt equal parts promise and secrecy. My daughter Lily, only 10, pressed her nose to our living room window watching our elusive neighbor, Mr. Harris. To her, his odd hours and flickering garage lights were the stuff of mystery novels. To me, his reticence built a quiet wall. But isn't it funny how a child's sense of wonder turns the ordinary like a man carrying boxes into an unfolding drama? Now, you might be thinking, isn't there a line between neighborly interest and nosiness? I asked myself the same, folding laundry as Lily cataloged Mr. Harris's every move. In social psychology, there's a term, observer bias, the way our expectations shape what we see. Lily saw an adventure. I saw a possible warning. Who was right? Then, on a blustery Thursday, everything changed. Picture this. Mr. Harris. A crate. Something moving inside. Our hearts hammered as he caught us watching. I froze, torn between embarrassment and worry. When he knocked, his question cut right to the heart. Were you watching me just now? Not angry, just exposed. It was the moment of truth. Would suspicion define us, or something else? Instead of slamming the door literal or figurative, he invited us over. And that's where the story truly began. Let's talk about what happens when assumptions meet reality, shall we? Because as we followed Mr. Harris across the yard, I felt every ounce of awkwardness dissolve into a mix of curiosity and hope. There, in a plain wooden crate, lay not evidence of secret dealings, but a tiny kitten, Misty, shivering, abandoned, and desperately in need of care. Mr. Harris, the man we'd quietly labeled as guarded, revealed a gentler truth. He was protecting, not hiding. The technical term here? Attribution error, when we judge others' actions without context. Assuming intent where there's only circumstance. Lily's eyes lit up with wonder, and for the first time, Mr. Harris smiled a small, human detail that shifted the whole narrative. Now, you might be thinking, isn't it risky to trust so quickly? Absolutely. But sometimes vulnerability is a bridge, not a trap. We apologized awkwardly. He accepted quietly. In that moment, suspicion gave way to understanding. Emotional intelligence, another technical term, is what steered us reading subtle cues, testing the boundaries of trust. From that night on, simple gestures, sharing tea, planting flowers, feeding Misty, wove a tapestry of neighborly connection. Mr. Harris wasn't a mystery to be solved, but a person carrying quiet grief and gentle hope. Lily's drawings went from windows to open doors. Our story, once about watching, became about seeing. Sometimes, letting curiosity lead you past your comfort zone opens a window that changes everything. And in that moment, the light finally came in. But life doesn't settle into neat endings, does it? One freezing December night, the story took a sharp turn. The snow was falling thick and heavy, and Mr. Harris's house was dark, silent. Misty meowed by his door, restless, a living alarm bell. Now, someone might say, surely he's just out. But intuition, especially when it's rooted in care, can be as precise as any scientific instrument. I remembered the spare key he'd entrusted us, with an unspoken symbol of trust. Hands shaking, I opened the door, afraid of what I'd find. There he was, collapsed but alive. We called 911, no hesitation, just action. In that moment, the roles reversed. The watcher became the watched over, and the lines between neighbor and family blurred. Medical triage is the technical term for quick, life-saving assessment. But the real triage was emotional. Lily cradled Misty, whispering hope. Paramedics did their work. Community, in that hour, was not just proximity, it was lifeline. When Mr. Harris returned from the hospital, his gratitude was almost too quiet to bear. "You saved my life," he said. And in that stillness, I realized sometimes the doors we open for others are the ones that ultimately save ourselves. It's easy to ignore the warnings, to turn away from discomfort. But courage, even in small doses, transforms neighbors into friends. We'd started with a glance through glass. We ended up sharing something far more enduring. You might be wondering, did things just go back to normal after that? Far from it. Spring arrived, and with it, flower beds bursting with color, Lily's laughter spilling across both our yards, and Mr. Harris Walter, to us now becoming a fixture at our table. That shy, wounded man told stories of adventure, loss, and love, and Lily listened as if she could soak up wisdom through her skin. But the deepest gift was the lesson wrapped up in all our fumbles, our mistaken assumptions, our awkward watching, our fear. Misty, the kitten, became a symbol of how something small and vulnerable can draw out the best in people. Behavioral economists talk about positive externalities, the unintended good that spills over from acts of kindness. Misty was our positive externality, the bridge we never knew we needed. Now you might say, isn't this just a story about a cat? Sure, on the surface. But layered underneath is the truth that connection rarely begins with perfection. It starts with messiness, apologies, and the courage to open the door even when you're not sure what waits on the other side. So let me ask you, what windows are you peering through? What snap judgments are holding you back from letting the light in? Because sometimes, the mistakes that make us flush with embarrassment are the same ones that crack our hearts open to something bigger. And if you're lucky, one day you'll find yourself at a neighborhood picnic, raising a cup to new friends, and realizing that the best stories start when we dare to look a little closer and then step outside.